You know what's better than 1 round? 2 rounds. We're looking to the future. We're going to highlight some of these prospects in next year's class by doing a 2-round mock draft. And I got my good friend, Alex from Hail Mary Sports. How you doing today, Alex?
I'm doing excellent. I've never dipped into 2 rounds yet, so we're in for a new experience.
Yeah, well, me either. So this could go either really well or pretty poorly. Not true. We're going to be highlighting a lot of guys. This is essentially our watch list for the summer. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be taking the odds. You will take the evens. And that means we're going to start with the Cleveland Browns. Hey, first overall, this is their pick, not the Jags. Mm-hmm. They're taking quarterback. Some people will be like, well, what about Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel? And I'm going to be like, okay, well, 3rd and 5th round picks. Minimal investment. If they're here first overall, you could trade out, I guess. You can do that. I'm not doing that because we're not doing trades. I'm going to go ahead and take the best player available. And seemingly, if he declares, we're going to act like he is available for this class. It's going to be Arch Manning. Very small game tape. Very small sample size. But seemingly, the assumption, if things go well, he's going to win the Heisman Trophy. They're going to be a national championship contender, and he will be the first overall pick. So I will use quarterback as that for the Cleveland Browns. Your face of the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see if he does. High likelihood he doesn't, but since we're doing 2 rounds as well, like, what's one name at the end of the day? And also, probably, so I guess the next question would be, if Arch was not your selection and he wasn't in the pool, where would you be looking? I assume also a quarterback.
Yeah, my early lean to who I might like, again, I have to dive into the film. It's Klubnik for Clemson.
I saw him go and Jordan Reed's way too early. So he went at number 1. So I understand that. He's a super high floor player and kind of fits with like a higher level version of Shedeur. But number 2 for the Titans, because I mean, I've liked certain quarterbacks a little bit more than others, but I really do like Cam Ward. Honestly, I think that he would in this class, based on if the draft were today, he'd be QB3 for me. Based on just the grade alone, he'd be QB3/QB2. So I'm definitely not looking to replace him. If you're at number 2, there's probably some shenanigans that happened on the defensive side. I love Femi Oladejo. I think he's going to continue growing and developing into a superstar, but he can't do it alone. And edge rusher was already a problem. And Femi is someone who is a great run defender. I don't think you guys will be at number 2. However, the player who I have a lot of faith in growing and developing into that superstar category is Ruben Bain. Ooh. Every time this guy's on the field, he's an absolute wreck.
That's what I want to hear. As a Hurricanes fan, that's what I want to hear.
He's so fun. He is just so fun. And like, I haven't been able to dive into the all-22, but every time I watch a Miami defender, I get gravitated towards Ruben Bain and force myself not to look at him in depth because I want to save dessert for last. And then, of course, I ended up watching Caleb Downs. But that's a conversation for another day. It's a big need. It's great value.
Yeah, I mean, he dealt with the soft tissue injury last year. So, I mean, you go to his freshman tape and he was really, really fun. So it'll be nice to see him healthy this season. I'm going to make this one quick. Saints quarterback. That's where I'm heading. They took Shuck at 40 and you'd be like, well, you don't want to waste pick 40. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, you're probably going to have him go out there pretty early with the whole Derek Carr shoulder stuff. You're going to get a good look. And if you're picking in the top 3, it probably wasn't a good look. So I'm going to play a little nepotism here and I'm going to reunite the son with his father, Garrett Nussmeier. He's going there to be coached by daddy. And Garrett Nussmeier, I mean, I think we saw a lot of good and a lot of bad. And I believe we're going to see some of that come back to earth this year. I think last year he was just kind of showing off the arm talent, and now we're going to see him work within the offense. He's going to have hopefully a defense that can give him some necessary backup. They were very active in the transfer portal when it came to their defense. Brought in Delane, I believe Patrick Payton as well, right? So,
but yeah, and Perkins back healthy. You can kind of
that's true.
That's like kind of an acquisition.
That's true. So, yeah, maybe things will be a little bit easier for Nussmeier. He won't be playing with his heels to the coals, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty low on Garrett Nussmeier. Just gonna put that out there. He's 6'2" and 200 pounds. He's
Yeah,
a little bit undersized.
he
doesn't look
probably
like it,
won't.
though.
He won't be my quarterback 2 or
Yeah.
maybe not even 3. But again, I'm playing the Nepo card.
Yeah, the Nepo card makes a ton of sense. Like, I think realistically, if Garrett doesn't take a massive consistency step, because he doesn't have an elite arm, he's not an elite athlete, and he's not an elite processor. He might be an elite playmaker, but even then he makes big decisions, big time mistakes and big time decision moments. But there's a chance that Nussmeier could end up being this. He could also end up being a second round pick for nepotism as well and bring in for competition. But at number 4 for the Giants, people are going to say, what about Dart? They traded up, sent 2/3 in part of this trade to get Jackson Dart. You know who did? The people who were fired if you're sitting at number 4 overall. They do not care. And most likely, if you look at the talent of New York, arguably the best defensive line in the NFL, they have talent all over the defense. They invested in it pretty heavily. Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo, they have a good team. So the issues on the offensive side. So it's going to be tackle. I'm not fully sold on tackle. I know that you ended up doing it on one of your way too earlys. I'm not fully sold on a tackle being worth it at this point, especially a right tackle. I've heard some people even talk about Francisco Mauigoa as a potential guard candidate. That scares me. I don't want to do that back-to-back years. But the thing that really bugs me is if you have Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy, Cam Scatterbo, there has to be some weight on the quarterback. And I think Lenore Sellers is the best quarterback in the class, backed up by Arch Manning. And Lenore Sellers, to me, the escapability, especially if you have a poor offensive line, the guy deals with it on a daily basis in South Carolina. This guy's a big arm. He has a big playmaking mentality. I think he has the chance to be the best quarterback in the class. And I think right now, the talent says it.
Before we get to the next pick, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. When you download the app and sign up using promo code Broshmo, they match that first deposit up to $1,000 dues with the NBA playoffs. They currently have the extender. Woo! For as long as a series goes on, your profit boost gets larger. But currently, they also got something else that's kind of fun happening. They're introducing a game called Ladders. And essentially what it is, it's pretty easy. You pick 3 to 5 players who you think will go off. So, I mean, hey, it's playoff time. It's time for legendary performances. Who do you think is going to have a game of a lifetime? Because the better game they have, the higher you are going to hit, the higher the payout will be. If they all hit the highest rung, then you will win up to 10 or 100 times your money. So try out Ladders. It's cool way to play. They just opened it yesterday. Opening it because that's a word. But yeah, check it out. But as always, please play responsibly. Play within your means. Okay, well, I mean, this quarterback run's going to keep going. I got the Jets. The Fields, yeah. I think he's a bridge to someone else. That someone else is going to be Cade Klubnik, who we mentioned earlier. I think this was a guy that I went from kind of really hating on in 2023 to 2024. He had a really strong second half of the year. And I think he's got that. I mean, he comes up with big plays. I mean, you go to that Pittsburgh game, put the team on his shoulders. It was utterly nuts.
Won the game.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, Aaron Glenn gets his guy and Cade Klubnik.
He's also very similar in terms of the assets liabilities that Tyrod Taylor has. So, I mean, that's been super successful. Worst case scenario, you're getting somebody that should be a competent backup with starter potential for 15 years. That's the worst case scenario. It's a good thing to have at number 5. It's like someone who should be starting and should be very competent, but at the very minimum is going to be an asset for you for well over a decade. I really do love the fact that we also did see that rise to the potential that we knew Cade Klubnik to be. At number 6 for the Panthers, though, kind of a pain in the ass pick, just because is like what would cause the Panthers to be at number 6? Most likely Bryce, like kind of crap in the bed. Hoping not. I highly doubt. I think the Panthers make a playoff run. That's just my intuition. If they are sitting here, it's hard to say no to Drew Aller. We are doing multiple rounds, and I'm kind of praying that I'm just going to end up taking a shot on a guy in round 2 at this point for competition, because one of the positions that I think can still use some help is a defensive back room. Caleb Downs is just everything is advertised. Put him in the box, put him as a nickel. I think he's the best that I've ever studied in that role. Free safety, I think he's a little bit more uncomfortable, but his mistakes come from him being so inexperienced that he gets anxious in particular moments and loses the polish that I know he has. You pair him back up with Lathan Ransom as well, so there's some familiarity and chemistry already in that secondary, and I think you're building a roster for the future, and again, kind of aiming for that quarterback there in round 2 rather than picking the 5th quarterback at number 6.
Man, I was kind of hoping to get Downs at 7. It is what
That's
it is.
Division.
It is.
Sorry, dude. That's division.
It is what it is. I could go elsewhere now.
You're like, damn.
Yeah, right. All right. So I might look to the future at edge next to Garrett because I think that's going to be a strength in this class. And there's a couple of guys. You already took Bain. TJ Parker's a guy I'm going to like. LT Overton's already a guy that I do like. So I could go there with it. Like tackle creeps into my mind.
That was the one that I would think about as well.
Yeah, and the guy would be CC for me, but yeah, I think he's going to take that next step up. I have a dark horse, but if you want to talk about sample size, he's got the smallest of sample sizes.
Which one are you talking about?
Gooseby from Texas.
Yeah, that's pretty small.
Yeah, it's very small.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Parker. I think he's going to continue his breakout from last season. He had a lot going on. I mean, 51 pressures, 12 sacks. The true pass rush win rate, 26.2%. I think we're going to see the initial win rate go up this year. He was very active versus the run. So, yeah, there we go. We're going to go TJ Parker. I feel like that's a home run for the Browns right there.
I mean, he's a damn good player. I haven't dug into the defensive class for at least for Clemson, and extremely excited for that.
I could tell you that Pittsburgh game, dude.
Yeah,
he ate.
Nasty. Yeah, I mean, he made my stock report list, so he's someone who I'm familiar with in terms of the statistics. Game tape, I've heard some mixed reviews, but I mean, I'm really hoping to fall in love with TJ Parker because I have my doubts. There's a lot in the air in terms of a lot of development needed for this class to be good. And I think it can be. But it's like you got weird guys like Keldrick Falk that we'll talk about who's like 6'6", 288. It's a really touchy subject to see where like all this is going to go. But I mean, that's every year. I guess we can always say that. But for the Colts, if you're sitting here at pick number 8, I know that you're going to be going from one quarterback with a big arm who has accuracy issues to another one, but at least Drew Aller has made legitimate progress every year of college. And I like the size. He also can run. Would not recommend it. But if you want to use Drew Aller as a cornerstone for the future, he's young, he's big, he's shown progress, and he continues. He could have been the number 3 pick this past year. I mean, you think about it. Like, is Drew Aller better than Jackson Dart? Would you have put Aller above Dart?
It would be close just because Aller not playing in Lane Kiffin's scheme. You might feel like he's not nearly as far away.
So it's like a mid to late first right there. He ended up giving that up, probably not to boost his stock, but because of the fact that he lost so poorly to Notre Dame, and Penn State guys are willing to go back to school, even if it ruins their draft stock in order to fight. Bottom line is, I like the mentality. That's the guy who I would go with.
Okay. Raiders one's going to be kind of easy for me. I just want to kind of take the best player available. And for me, that's going to be Peter Woods. He was playing all over the defensive line for Clemson. I think he's going to play a little bit more interior this year with the emergence of Parker. And man, you're going to reunite the Clemson boys on the inside there with Wilkins. I say reunite like they played together. They didn't, but there's like a... there's a bond there. There's a bond there. They're Clemson defenders. No, I mean, that's a quick and easy decision, obviously. But pick 10 for the Patriots, a little bit less quick and easy, unless you have something that you have off the rip that you're like, oh my God, like you have to go that route. I don't know. Part of me likes maybe taking whoever you deem the best tackle.
I was like, do I dare just say screw you to Will Campbell?
I mean, to be fair, Morgan Moses, he's not like a long-term vision, so it doesn't have to be a screw you to Will Campbell right off the rip.
You know what? I like that idea. I'm going to go Spencer Fano out of Utah. Statistically, he did very well this past year, and he's a true right tackle, so don't have to deal with position switches. Yeah, I mean, that's somebody who I feel pretty.
You know what's the funny thing is? I've heard things about his. Again, I haven't watched him, but I've heard stuff about his length.
Oh yeah, they're gonna talk about him as a potential guard. Yeah,
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I mean, he did so well, and honestly, if he has length concerns, talk about a team that just straight up ignored it the past time. Hopefully, they don't. You're not at number 10 because you failed. Maybe it worked, but some other things just weren't in place.
Okay, we got the Rams. I jumped to corner immediately. I could get my guy here. I'm more of a Jermod McCoy dude, but he's coming off the ACL. He's going to be more of, I think, a man coverage defender. So I'm really looking at Terrell and Muhammad here, both playing in very zone-heavy schemes.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's a little comedy here that this being, I assume, the Falcons pick, that you take AJ's brother.
That would be kind of funny.
So actually, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Avion Terrell out of Clemson.
I love it just out of spite. You just got to do it. You'd be like, yeah, you gave us this pick. You guys, I mean, can you imagine the Falcons traded their future first and then ended up losing 5 spots in terms of draft position? Like that'd be like a true knife in the back, man. That would suck. For the Cardinals, though, I mean, they've done everything. Again, it's a team that I see being pretty tough to be this poor, like to regress with the moves they've made. Very hard to see it that way. It's very possible, though. Injuries happen. There's a lot of crap that can end up like hitting the fan. But I mean, one of the few positions that they haven't fully addressed is that tackle spot. I would say that right tackle spot. And so I am looking and I am debating going after Francis Mauigoa, who also apparently has some length concerns. God bless America.
I know, dude. I mean, we're not going to finalize any of that till like Senior Bowls and combines. Because I mean, just eyeballing it can be tough. I mean, Will Campbell was easy, like you could tell. Just
I know.
You look at him in his suit at the combine.
Yes, like it was crazy. But honestly, I'm gonna take it the higher ceiling player in my opinion. That I think I could. It's dangerous. The last time that someone tried to do this, moving a Bama left tackle to right tackle, it didn't work out. But seeing what happened when they moved a Bama right tackle to left tackle. Well, like I honestly think J.C. Latham did a solid job, and then of course he's moving back. But I'm gonna go Caden Proctor. I like his athleticism, his power, and his overall profile just a little bit more than Francis off the bat.
Okay, Seahawks. A couple of things come to mind, but I think I might do something a little fun.
Okay.
Because you could continue the offensive line renovation, I suppose. You could look to the secondary. You could add guys to the defensive interior. I'm going to do wide receiver.
Ooh. Okay.
They traded DK. Let's get DK back. I'm going to go Nick Harbor out of South Carolina. He was pretty good down the stretch. And I mean, dude, he's an Olympic sprinter. Like at like what, 6'4", 230?
He's insane. Yeah. Like Nick Harbor is, I think when NCAA 25 came out, he's the only 99 speed player in it as well. So, I mean, it's just crazy that he's like 6'5" as well. It's, oh my God. Insane. For Miami, I'll be consulting with you on this. My gut instinct said corner, which I think that you're fine with the idea, especially if Jalen might not want to stick around regardless of whether the contract says yes or no, if you guys are here at pick 14 again. Like in this range, like 13 to 14, it's kind of like poverty time. Like I'm praying for you that the organization doesn't pull a Pittsburgh Steeler and just try to Frankenstein a mediocre roster into a competitive mediocre roster and then just end up disappointing consistently. I want to go after the best player available. And for me, I'm looking at Malik Muhammad in terms of like his ability to have those zone instincts, but on top of that, I love his physicality profile. I thought he was honestly better than Jahdae Barron. And like the other one that comes to mind the two guys is Mansour Delane, because I think he's going to take a huge step up at LSU. But on top of that, DJ McKinney out of Colorado, they both like all different styles of corner. But I think Malik Muhammad brings the experience and honestly the prowess that is well deserving of the number 14 pick.
Okay, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Man, Dallas. So I did running back for Dallas.
You went running back for the Dolphins?
No, for the Cowboys.
Oh, I was saying like who'd you do for the Dolphins?
I'm in the same ballpark as you.
Yeah.
For the Cowboys though, I did run back last time because I was like, I want to include a running back in my mock draft.
Sure.
Because it's kind of hard to go anywhere different. Because we were talking about this before. My first indication is I'm not going to love the wide receiver class.
Yeah.
So this might not be the spot to take it. And then with the defensive interior, the question is, okay, well, then who is going to be the guy to step up and be that interior player, that big meaty boy in the middle? Who's going to have the heft? And we talked a little bit about Banks, but I don't see Banks as that run stuffer. So
he's more of a pass rushing block shedding type.
Yeah, so my lean is with Darrell Jackson out of Florida State, who did show a little bit as a pass rusher this past season. He still needs to continue to grow, but I think the upside's there. He's 6'5", 330.
Yeah,
so
he's a big dude.
Yeah, at the very least, he's a big boy.
Okay. So me at 15, man.
Yeah.
All right. Steelers at 16. Talk about quarterback here. The question is, did Will Howard play? Now, I already know people are going to say it's a 6th round pick. Who gives a crap? That's fair. I also think that Will Howard was the 3rd best quarterback in the class. I think that, he gets a chance to start. Would you rather take the 7th quarterback here at 16? Or would you rather, go after potentially sucking the next year with Will Howard / Mason Rudolph, whatever ends up being on the team after this year, and then end up going after like someone like DJ Lagaway? Just gonna be honest, might lean towards that latter one. However, I do think that it's very realistic if you're sitting here at 16 with this class, and I just did a top 25 quarterback video. So this is not just on my intuition hearing the class. Like, this is based on my actual opinions. I think this class is as good as advertised. And I'm telling this to you for the first time. I think there are just certain players that are part of the advertisement that are overrated. And that's why people are starting to think the class is overrated. I'm going to be going after Fernando Mendoza, quarterback formerly of Cal at Indiana. Big arm, big playmaker, needs to chill out in terms of making dumb decisions, but he's someone who could thread it on a straight up rope, and he can put it right into a 2-inch box. And that's somebody that we haven't had in a long time.
Okay. He's going to be certainly fun at Indiana.
I mean, Bengal has him as QB1. A couple people I know have him as QB1. It's just, well, I don't know if Bengal has him as QB1.
He was the offense. They didn't really run the ball well because Ott was banged up. Now he's at Oklahoma. I didn't know that until about a week ago.
Him and Mateer are going to be so fun.
Dude,
another name that we'll be talking about. Yeah.
So I'm stuck. I'm stuck between two positions that aren't necessarily premium positions: running back and linebacker.
Really? Okay.
Because for one, the Bears, I think they're going to get off either one or two of those contracts at linebacker.
Okay.
And then running back, did you get the guy? I don't know if they got the guy. They brought in what, Monungai?
Monungai.
So Jeremiah Love is very appealing here.
Okay.
And I think he might be too appealing. Yeah, because I think this linebacker class actually got a little bit of depth to it. So I'm gonna go with the running back. I'm gonna go with Jeremiah Love. Run back's back in fashion, baby.
I respect it. All right. Well, Minnesota, you guys apparently were so infatuated with Donovan Jackson that when the Philadelphia Eagles called, you were like, we ain't even listening. So apparently picks, F them picks. You guys got your guy in round 1. And
F them picks.
I mean, if you're sitting here at pick 18, that's not a bad spot to be. with essentially JJ's rookie deal. Offensive line should be completed. Weaponry is looking good. You could talk about, if Jeremiah Love's here, you could talk about the long-term vision with Love. But, I mean, the focus needs to be on the defense. And whether it's corner, whether it's safety, I'm looking at Thiemann here, very possible. But you also do look at the corners, who's going to be physical. I'm looking at someone like DJ McKinney. I'm a big fan of that idea. Obviously, if you want to wait a little bit, maybe we could talk about this in round 2. Davidson Igbinosun, very physical corner of Ohio State, needs someone like Brian Flores to use him properly. But, I mean, someone who has a ton of potential there with the right guy. The other name I want to bring into the fold is Caleb Banks. The reason why I won't take him is because you invested so heavily very recently. So I will bounce back to the corner room, and I will end up going after DJ McKinney, cornerback out of Colorado. He's willing to stop the run at all costs. He's a freak athlete that just floats. He floats when he moves. And he really did feel like a more athletic, cheaper version, or at least if Travis Hunter was gassed in late parts of the game, he looked like the more athletic, cheaper version of Travis Hunter, which at 18 sounds like a deal to me.
Man, Denver Broncos. Oh, what do I do here?
Your number one player that went in their last draft is still available.
I know. Isn't that wild?
Throw that out there. Yeah.
I don't know if I take him here, man. I think they're content. Bowles is fine. He's happy. They have, honestly, McGlinchey was fine last year. I kind of like what they have in Alex, was it Palazwowski, former Illinois, as a high-end backup.
Yeah. Damn.
So, strangely enough, part of me wants to go with tight end.
It's possible. It's a solid class off the bat.
I might do that. I was also looking at the edge class.
Okay.
And I don't know if I've sold myself, because I mean they actually have quite a bit of edge talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? Let's just showcase the tight end. Let's highlight a tight end. I was talking to you about him at the beginning of the video. I think Kenyon Sadiq might have a big year now that Fergie is gone. He had some really highlight plays last year. I mean, dude, last season in forced missed tackles, man, he had 10 of them. Stinking nuts. He had very sure hands also. And I know this is a first round pick, but I'm just going to bring it up. 439 snaps on special teams. It's kind of nuts. So I'm going to go with Sadiq.
Okay. For Tampa Bay, I love the idea of Jahad Campbell with Bowles. I'm going to essentially do that with just someone who's been a little bit on the lighter side, but someone who we kind of all assumed was a first round pick as soon as we saw him as a true freshman off the edge. It's Harold Perkins as a pure linebacker / edge hybrid. I want to be able to see him utilized properly, but the edge talent that you brought in this offseason, especially in the draft, were not built like the edge talent that you had before. But Harold Perkins allows you to have that flexibility. He is someone who should have been top 5, top 10 pick if he ended up adding some weight and staying healthy. He just ended up having, unfortunately, a season-ending injury, and he's back.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with tackle here for the for the Texans. I'm going to go with CC. He's been on the board long enough. I don't know if he moves over to left tackle this year with Rivers now in the NFL, but I think regardless, there's some rawness there, but I think there's enough tools to really wet the palate, so to speak, with him. So yeah, and I mean, and they just added who did they add at OC? Kaylee?
Dude, I'm horrible when it comes to names of coaches, but I know what you're talking about.
Former Rams, a team that moved more towards a gap scheme, duos and stuff, and that's kind of perfect. CC's coming from Miami where they run a lot of gap. So
Yep. Okay, so for the Chargers, interesting spot to be in. Tight end is another time. This is another spot where I could easily highlight someone like Luke Hodge or wherever the hell they have Lawson Lucky on here. But I mean, I just don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that. Damn, Lawson Lucky's listed at 321. That's crazy. I mean, I know this is not a finalized board by them.
Isn't he
way,
like he's a redshirt sophomore, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lawson Lucky probably won't come out, but it's still, worth bringing up the name. I will say, you look at the edge core for the Chargers, it still is heavily developmental and leaning on the expertise of Khalil Mack. They like Alabama players. They like big Alabama players. I'm gonna go after LT Overton. It's a good value at 22.
Oh, do you like Overton?
Yeah, he was supposed to be like a late first this past year, late first, early second range, and find it hard for him to take a regression step.
Dude, I kept hammering his name like early to mid season to the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is kind of like a different variation of Shamar Stewart that was like more productive.
So I think this is where I'm gonna pull the trigger on Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee for Green Bay. He's coming off the ACL. Don't know when exactly he'll be back, if at all. If he comes out, we'll see. But golly, man, just watching him last year, I knew he was going to be my corner one.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that will change. I really don't. But I think they want to get more physical at corner, and he'd be physical.
Physical. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wonder about his athleticism, because guys like Andrew Armstrong generated some good separation against him. That's my only concern. But I think he was my corner one coming into the year as well. TBD on that, because I loved watching corners. But the Rams, well, you already took Avian Terrell. So this is going to be fun. Don't even need a corner anymore, even though I debate going Mansour Delane if you had not gone after AJ's brother. This is a good spot to look at quarterback. What are you saying?
No, I just scoffed because of the Falcons.
Dude, Malachi Nelson. Why do they have him listed at 94? He's taken like 2 reps in his life. I mean, I just had to,
it's early.
I had to poke fun at it. Yeah. No, they had him at number 1 for some reason. I was like, what the hell?
I mean, he was a highly regarded recruit at some point, so.
Fair enough. I'm going to go after John Mateer here. Transfer from Washington State to Oklahoma. I think this guy.
All the quarterbacks go the first.
Well, here's the thing. John Mateer's my QB7, tied QB6 essentially with Aiden Childs. So spoiler alert for probably the next guy who I'd be looking to take. But John Mateer is a crazy athlete with a great arm. His offensive line did not do him any justice. Pressure off the bat all the time. I could just imagine him being utilized properly with an actually adequate offensive line. And with McVay, the amount of just destruction you can create with this guy, mind-blowing. But John Mateer, to me, has the ceiling to be a legitimate mid to high first. Okay,
before we put that pick in, can we just pour one out for Cam Rising? The name right here.
Dude, the thing is, I don't even think he's going to be able to play.
He's not. I think he's no longer at Utah.
Oh, okay. I was like, they had the New Mexico transfer there. I know it starts.
It's like Detier. Yeah. I don't know. He was electric.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback, but he was electric.
I was trying to find him in the list. I can't find him.
All right. So Cincinnati Bengals. We're going with the secondary. They got 2 free agents coming up in MJ Emerson and Greg Newsome. So question is,
are you talking about this is Cincinnati, not Cleveland?
Oh, did I say Cleveland? I'm sorry. All y'all Ohio teams blend together.
Well, you said Newsome and Emerson as well.
Did I really?
Yeah, I was like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, no. So actually, Dax Hill, I don't know if he's up on his contract, but again, health. DJ Turner has been able to stay healthy. I think Cam Taylor-Britt's probably coming up on his 4th year. Yeah. So, okay, look, y'all are so alike. The Browns and the Bengals, to some regard. Yeah, it's kind of wild.
There's issues.
Yeah. Regardless, I knew I was going to go with a man-heavy corner because they have Al Golden there. So we're bringing it back full circle. Oh, man. But regardless, I'm going Mansour Delay. I'm sorry. It has been a long, long season.
Yeah.
Excuse Broshmo if he needs to just take a breath and have a stinking brain fart once in a while. I'm going Mansour Delane. He's going to be at LSU. He's going to be playing more man defense. Awesome. He's built for it. Back at Virginia Tech, they played a lot of zone, and they played more to Dorian Strong's strength rather than his own. Physical corner. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, yeah. For Washington, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Delane myself at VT, but man, I mean, I just know, like, the moment I saw you transfer to LSU, something inside me is like, this is going to work out. And I'm praying to God that gut instinct
Maybe they'll be DBU once again.
I would love it. I would love it. For Washington, one of the surprising factors is how little they cared about edge. And Denis Dennis Sutton, I mean, he's a physical phenom. He's a beast at his size, and he needed an extra year of development. I'm going to take him here.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I hope he breaks out. Like he was kind of in the midway of a breakout. I'm scared he might go the JT Tuimoloau route, where it's just like kind of like gradually gets better rather than that big just, oh wow, he has arrived.
Yeah. Well, at least JT had that early flash versus Penn State where everyone was like, oh, and then it was like, okay, the consistency needed to improve. Denis has yet to have that game, but he has more athletic potential than JT did.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they were kind of built the same way too. Similarly,
yeah.
I think Danny's probably a little longer, but
yeah,
I mean JT was pretty long too.
Yeah, JT had over 33.
Yeah, I think he was at 34. I don't know. I don't feel like looking back at that class. That class is dead to me.
It's over.
So we got the San Francisco 49ers. They addressed one part of the trenches. Now it's time to flip to the other side. Look to the future. I don't know if he's on here. I imagine he should be, right? I'm gonna go with my dark horse in this class.
Oh, it's that Texas kid?
Yeah, Trevor Gooseby. You know what's an easy way to do this? Control F. Not on here.
I'll scroll for you. Yeah, the Goose. How the hell do you have so many names? Isn't Jacob Sexton? Oh wait, I'm tripping. Is Sexton the tackle at Colorado, or I'm thinking of Seton? Never mind. I thought that they had a true sophomore on here. I'm like,
oh yeah, no, Seton. We'll talk about him in 2027.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's video.
Oh gosh, stop! No, please no. All right, well, let's see who the lucky guy is gonna be. My boy Zion Nelson, who came out of retirement, by the way. I don't know if he's still with the Hurricanes though, but I know he did come out of retirement. But yeah, Trevor Gooseby, when he had to step up for Kelvin Banks when he got banged up, was it perfect? No, but still for a first-time starter, the world was talking about freaking Cameron Williams and what he did in his first full year as a starter with the ups and the downs. You might be like, he's a 6th-round pick, but he fell because I guess stuff with the knee.
Yeah.
As far as I know, Gooseby doesn't have any of that, and I thought that Georgia game was promising for a first-time starter. So I'm looking for him to take that next step.
It's fair enough. For the Bills, I'm itching to go Caleb Banks. I just highly doubt that they continue to fire every single piece of draft capital on the defensive side. Sometime we got to see a break for the offense. Now, I think I might opt for the running back route. And there's some very good players in this class. Do they have them twice? No, they don't. But you and I agree, this is our RB2 coming into the year. And this is somebody, I don't know if I can go Jonah Coleman. I don't know why they have him at 189. That doesn't make any sense. But
doesn't get a lot of carries.
I guess. He's a really good player, though. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to just go best player available. I think that's the smartest thing to do. Let's have calmer heads prevail. I'm going to end up still investing on the defensive side. We're going to pull Packers here, and we're going to go after Caleb Banks. They traded up for TJ Sanders, but at this point, the potential to get somebody who is a genuine game wrecker in Banks, I can't say no.
All right, well, there he goes. Okay, so for the Detroit Lions, this is another team that also did not address their edge. So I'm going to go with the freak. I'm going to go with Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. Built different. The win rate is a little wishy-washy, but he was also playing inside and out. Go to his alignment.
He had a lot of 4-eye reps, right?
Yeah. So he was in between the either inside the tackle, over the top tackle, or outside the tackle. So I'm going to bet on, he's 6'6", 285. The man's big.
Beast.
He's going to stop the run well.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Hopefully.
Allegedly.
I mean, he had 33 defensive stops last year, so that's right up freaking Dan Campbell's alley.
Dude, Keldrick Falk, I am excited to see where he goes. I'm hoping he goes to the right spot. Yeah. I really hope that for him. Ravens, though, thinking back on y'all's draft, Eric DaCosta did his thing. So I honestly think edge should be solved. Knock on wood. Kind of not because I'm a Steelers fan, but, unbiased. I really do hope that it ends up working out for y'all. I do think that boundary corner is not out of the question. Like, it still could use some tweaking. I think you'd agree, right? Like Marlon, have him in the nickel.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Wiggins on the boundary.
Yeah, looking for outside because Marlon's up there in years too, I believe.
This is true.
Feels like he's been around for 20 years, if I'm being honest.
I know. Yeah, it's been a work in progress. And Marlon's been a big part of that progress.
He turns 29. He's so much younger than I thought. That's wild. It feels like he's been around forever.
Good for him, though. Honestly, really good for him. I'm actually going to get somebody, they like physicality. You're in the AFC North. You need to get a dog. So let's go and get a dog from college. A Georgia Bulldog, albeit. Dalen Everett might be still developing in terms of the ball skills, but the foundational floor of him as a coverage player in every aspect of the game, including physicality and press coverage, through the roof. I mean, like it's what you want in just a safe corner too. And if he develops those ball skills, my God, it's going to be an absolute shit show for anybody trying to play the Ravens.
Man. So I was semi thinking about going corner.
Yeah. For the Chiefs?
Yeah, but I don't think I am anymore. I think I might just dip into the edge class.
Okay.
It's a lot to think about, a lot to take in right now.
Ashton, was it Gelati? He ain't doing it for you anymore?
I mean, I feel like he's going to be very role specific, and it feels like that role is similar to George Karlaftis.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I don't know. I kind of want to just take the best player available. Unfortunately, it's linebacker, and they've paid their linebackers.
This is true.
And you could go wide receiver because the position is fallen, but they got Jalen Royals. You saw good things from Worthy. You get Rashee Rice.
Same thing.
Not exactly the same thing.
Endangering other individuals.
One drives fast. One throws hands.
The other one drives his hand fast into somebody.
Golly.
Rest in peace. Not really. They're all alive, but
yeah. What the heck?
Rest in peace to their career. How about that?
Yeah.
In terms of their public image.
And I wouldn't mind going with like an interior, like offensive interior, because I think there's value there. But I'd like to think that they think that maybe that is solved, at least for the here and now, moving forward.
Norzad's there too. Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, this center class is freaking nuts, and it's like, well, it's a shame that the Chiefs have the best center in football.
Literally.
Yeah, I guess I could still dip into corner because there's plenty of good corners in this class. But then the question becomes, which corner am I going? Because I see a lot of zone heavy guys. There's Jontez Williams, which there's Jalen Kilgore, but he allowed a lot. I mean, a lot underneath at least. So it makes me want to go away from it. Maybe safety. Maybe that's probably where I need to go. That's where I should be looking. Okay. Because there's Dylan, was it Thyman? Who's going to be at he's going to be at Oregon next year. And it was a bit of a down year for him. And by down year, I mean, he just didn't have 6 picks like he did as a freshman, but he had like 6 pass breakups. So I think I might go there, actually. Yeah, I'll do that. Really there we go. This worked through it. We worked through it.
That's the whole entire point of doing these live. It's fun to see the thought process. So Philly, honestly, I'm going to deploy a tight end here because Dallas ain't getting any younger. love Grant Calcaterra, but a player who I absolutely adore, who is going to a spot that I think he'll be utilized better with. I mean, knock on wood, I don't know what the quarterback situation at Ole Miss is going to look like for Luke Hodge in terms of like how productive the quarterback's going to love him. But Luke Hodge finally escaped one of the worst processing quarterbacks I've ever studied in my life. Granted, one of the best throwing quarterbacks I've ever seen. But regardless, I'm going to go Luke Hodge here. I think that guy is just, I mean, he was consistently getting open there for Arkansas on a consistent basis. His numbers do not reflect how good he is. He just was not targeted enough. In fact, I saw Luke Hodge, when you watch Taylon Green, you'll see this, or Luke Hodge himself. He literally jumps up and down after plays he was not targeted because he gets that wide open and calls for it. And sometimes Taylon's looking right at him and just does not throw it. And I'm like, I can't blame you, brother. At a certain point, like, you can get a little frustrated, but when it's that consistent, I'm like, all right. But it's time to get something new in place. And there's not many areas of legitimate improvement needed at that point.
Yeah, you know what's the wild thing? Man, just I don't know what to do with Cleveland.
There's some good tackles on the board, man.
Yeah, and I feel like at this juncture, I'm either receiver or tackle. That's kind of where I'm between.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, if you look at how many screens some of these wide receivers got in this class, it's kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But you know who was the best corner against man coverage?
Who?
Jordan Tyson.
Oh, wide receiver.
Out of Arizona State, yeah.
I was really hoping he was falling to the next pick. That was my guy for the next one.
Yeah, this was the dude I pegged early that I might like. Like many of these other receivers in this class, as you'll see, there are some drop issues. Part of me, I assume a lot of that's going to be focus drops. It's going to be early, like quick game, and so it might be one of those situations where like, okay, that's fixable. It's not legitimate ball skill problems. So I'll go with Tyson.
I really like that pick. Again, that was my dream pick for the next one. You ruined it. No, but I mean that's excellent. For the Titans, I honestly think this is kind of a hot take. You guys arguably have a completed receiving core. The one who would change my mind is Tyson, because I think if, however you say it, Io Maynor, if Elick ends up staying healthy, I think he's a legit number 2. And then you have your number 1 that you're paying already in Ridley. And honestly, in the slot, Restrepo, not going to lie, I think he can actually make a really big difference on your team. So I was looking at Carnell Tate, and I'm like, not going to go there. We got Ruben Bain so far. I like where we're headed in that direction. Quarterback, you're solved. Running back, you're solved. Tackle, there's no reason to try to solve it. Tight end, you can talk about Lawson Lucky, but at a certain point, I just don't think that weaponry. Again, I think that we're going to look at the linebacker side of things. Who are they getting linebacker-wise in the draft?
Let's see.
I can't remember off the top of my head. Even if
they brought in Cody Barden.
Yeah, that doesn't stop me. I'm going to go Anthony Hill, bottom line. The value, he's very much a roller coaster statistically. He has some of the best games and some of the worst, but it was an area where I was really hoping Tennessee would improve upon. And if they do have this tough of a season, I could really see that being a primary cause.
So you're going to go Anthony Hill?
Oui.
All right. So I've kind of decided that I'm going to go with the interior, the offensive line for the Saints. Question is, I'm between actually a lot of players. Yeah. It's actually, this class is kind of meaty when it comes to the interior. I'm gonna lean with I believe it's pronounced Ipani, and I'm not even gonna try his last name. Oregon center, and you might be like Eric McCoy, and it's like McCoy's played guard before, and so has Ipani. He actually had to start at guard last year where he did really well. Where are you?
Where is he? Yeah, I was like looking for him too.
There 239. He is, 239.
Yeah. Low.
That's wild.
Low.
He was so good last year.
Yeah, again, guys, if you guys are like trying to NFL mock draft database like scout and just say, oh, that's the 236 best player, you just took him at 35. Maybe you could get a little closer with that the day before the draft. So there's a lot of movement to be had.
Oh, there's going to be a ton of movement. Again, we're really just trying to highlight some of these prospects.
Right. And speaking of a player who I really want to highlight, there's actually a couple of tackles here that I really like for the Giants. And it's hard to get much worse. Isaiah World is getting a lot of love as a first-round player, but Caleb Lawmu, the problem with him is that he's like 300 pounds flat. That's my one issue with him. But I'm going to go Isaiah World here. I think very similarly to what you're talking about with the kid from Texas, that Isaiah World's going to take a massive step this year in terms of getting into a very productive position where you saw two drafted NFL offensive tackles.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, dude. What, he's coming from Nevada?
Yeah.
Stepping up to the big leagues into Oregon. I mean, very similar to Josh Simmons last year, or even the year before.
Connerly. Yeah, Connerly.
No, Simmons, when he went from San Diego State
to Ohio State. Yeah,
to Ohio State.
The level jump.
Yeah.
You can also talk about Johnny Cornelius, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm. Rhode Island to Oregon.
Yeah, but he was day 3, so.
He was. He was a day 3 steal for the Cowboys.
Ah, yes.
You know I liked him a lot.
I know you like him. I know.
Anyways.
All right, let's get back on track here, because
what are you looking at for the Jets?
I'm thinking the defensive line.
Cause see that?
Kind of where my mind is going. Offensive line, they like to think they've got things in hand, and I feel like they probably do. Okay. I already got the quarterback of the future. You could always go with a wide receiver, and that might not be a bad idea, actually.
Value's kind of nutty.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at what we're playing with here. So there's a few names that I'm looking at along the defensive interior. Okay. Wide receiver, though. I got a name.
You got a name.
I got a name. I'm thinking, well, there's a few names. So
I'm like, there's some names out here, man.
Yeah, there's 3 I'm trying to decide between. I think I'm going to go with the hype on this guy. He kind of had a breakout year last year, and he's got prototypical X wide receiver size. That's going to be Denzel Boston out of Washington. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking
Oh, you already did.
Yeah, I already did. I was thinking Tate, because it's like, okay, cool, you get a good all-around player, but I'm like, I don't know, maybe I want that prototypical X. I got to go back and watch Williams, but he did flash last year. Just not necessarily watching for an eval, just casually watching. My boy Concepcion, but that dude got thrown so many freaking screens last year because the quarterback play was terrible at NC State.
Not going to change. Malik Reed, I mean, what's his name? It's not Malik Reed. What was his name? Something Reed.
It's not far off.
Yeah, no, it's Reed.
Mikkel?
The last name's Reed.
Is it Mikkel?
Trying to see. Is he draft eligible? I know he was a freshman last year, but was he a redshirt freshman?
I don't know off the top of my head. Connor Wigman over at Houston. Woo.
He could bounce back, man. Shout out to Mekhi Muse, former Georgia receiver over there. He's friend of the show. But Panthers, I could see them looking at tackle here as well. But I do think if you're picking at pick 6, it's kind of hard to kind of pinpoint it on anybody but Bryce Young at the moment. I'm going to go after a player who I have a lot of faith in. And he does have a chance to really let me down, but he's my QB6, high QB7. Aiden Childs out of Michigan State. 6'3", 217, really good athlete. Good pocket maneuver as well. So I like his pocket IQ. He has a strong arm. Like, he has these high-level NFL throws that just like really catch your attention. But I just want the consistency to improve, and I'm hoping that happens this year at Michigan State.
Yeah, he is playing in a pro-style offense there under Jonathan Smith. And I mean, you're kind of hoping that in year 2, that they're going to have more talent, more guys that he recruited and whatnot. So we'll see.
They lose Antonio Gates Jr., which breaks my heart, but conversation for another day.
So part of me, this is the Jags' first pick. What can I do to really get like a difference making pick here? Let me see. So the first player name that popped into my head is Jonah Coleman.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I'm like really looking at him on my screen now. I'm like,
yeah, I want to take a quick look at the roster and some of the contracts, just in case.
Oh man, that's a tough position to be in. And maybe the offensive line would like. Why would, if somehow, some way, the Jags end up with the 7th overall pick in the draft, which ends up being 39 in the second? Why would they be there?
Yeah, right.
Like, what would cause that? Like, would it be an offensive line issue? Would it be because they don't have a running game?
I think their offensive line is going to be better than you expect.
Well, I think we both agree the Jags should not have pick 7 in the draft.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
They should not. Especially Liam Cohen.
Yeah, so you would probably think it's a defensive issue, or maybe they just can't run the ball.
True.
They brought in Tudin. They got the speed. LeQuint's there too. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude. Oh man, I forgot about LeQuint. Man, that was such a good pickup.
Yeah. So
I had him way higher than Beischel as well, but completely different backs.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I might opt to go safety. Strangely enough, maybe not.
They got Ransall.
Yeah, I think do I go with a meaty? I think I'm going with a meaty run stuffer.
Okay.
I think that's where my head's at. It's just there's not a ton of those guys I like per se right now.
Sure.
Some of them don't necessarily have like heft. I think this like Jackie Marshall kid out of Baylor is actually sub 300 maybe.
Okay.
I'll just take a quick look if you don't mind. I do have a player in mind, so don't worry if crap hits the fan, so to speak. Yeah, he's 290. So it's like I'm gonna go with Lee Hunter he's currently at Texas Tech this year. He was formerly of Central Florida. Oh, I could have gone Christian Miller too. Yeah, I'm fine. Give me the guy with a little bit more pass rush upside.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see where he's at on this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna control F this sucker. There he is, $5.99.
Well,
what a value, $5.99.
$5.99.
Dude, low key, Texas Tech is kind of loaded. They brought in a lot of transfers. David Bailey's there too. Dude,
it's pretty nasty. Pretty nasty, man. So the Colts, I really wish they didn't get JT Tuimel out, even though I love it, because I would look at Tyreek Sapp right now or Mateo Uiagalelei. Both are guys that I'm not going to get an edge 3 or immediately bench one of my top 2 edges at pick 40. Not happening. But those corner contracts are going to be coming up in the near future, especially for Jalen Jones. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of having to pay a corner 3. And Juju Brents, don't have a ton of faith in him. So I think that he is a corner 3. Now, he's a corner 2, but I usually believe if your team's very well built, corner 2 should be corner 3s. The question is, who is worth it at this point? I'm curious who you have, but there's a guy who I have in mind that I'm expecting to take a massive jump this year. They didn't do it last year, but I really was expecting him to do it. And this year, I think it's going to be round 2. Who do you think? Like, who do you have in mind?
Do you want me to guess?
Yeah. I mean, guess who you would go with here at corner.
With Coach Lou, they play a little bit more man. So Davidson Benosen is the first guy that comes to mind.
He was a top end recruit too. Yeah, it's definitely up there.
It's just like 16 penalties is golly.
The thing is, coming into the year, I loved Igbinosun because his penalties felt justified. Last year, I felt very similar to Kobe Bryant as well. During the year last year, the penalties were making up for their mistakes, and they ended up leaning on their ability to get to be physical and grab rather than learning from their mistakes. And that's what causes BS penalties. I don't like BS penalties. Have good penalties. And that's why I'm a little bit more against David Igbinosun. But one guy above Davison Igbinosun is Damani Jackson out of Alabama.
That was actually the next name I was going to bring up, Alabama. Yeah.
He was really good at USC. And I mean, really good at USC. I thought that he was going to be the guy who could potentially rise up, be a first-round pick. And he had a little bit of a sluggish year last year, as did pretty much the entire defense there. And I think especially with Xavier Brown, who is, in my opinion, probably a lock top 10 player for 2027, I think that the pedal is fully pushed down for him to maintain or improve his performance, or else he's going to be pushed down to corner 2 or corner 3 really quickly. So I like the fact that his feet are to the fire, and honestly, he could be very similar to Javarius Ward in that aspect.
Okay, I think I'm actually going to go with a linebacker for the Raiders.
They need it, man. I don't know why they waited so long.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my boy Deontay Lawson. Probably would have been at least a day 2 pick if he didn't get hurt.
4th round pick, yeah.
So, yeah, him and Campbell were freaking phenomenal last season.
Oh, yeah. I'm a fan of that one. We got to see how he bounces back health-wise. But This is somebody who was on my radar before I ended up even learning about Jihad Campbell. So
right? Same.
Yeah. I was like, who the hell is a Jihad guy? I mean, like, this guy must suck. He's not even as good as Deontay Lawson. I was like, oh, no, apparently not. But for the Patriots, they've done a lot of really good things. And I mean, just watching how this receiving core just pretty much this receiving class fell into their hands. I'm going Carnell Tate all day. I'm signing off on that immediately and getting themselves someone who is physical, who could be very versatile. I love Ohio State players in New England. I don't know why. It's just been a thing of mine, but it worked. I mean, at 42, it makes a ton of sense.
Dude, why does it feels like Brian Hartline should be a wide receivers coach in the NFL? Like Vrabel, They were on the staff at the same time, right? Or was that before his time?
Coming in. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just finds it cush to be at Ohio State. Maybe it's just easier when wide receiver recruits just want to go to you rather than you have to train up wide receiver recruits. I don't know.
Yeah. So with
Nothing you can.
With the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Man, this pick kind of like it depends on what they're gonna do with Jalen Walker, man.
Yeah.
Are they viewing him as like a Kaden Ellis type? Because if not, then I got a guy that can maybe replace Kaden Ellis.
You looking at CJ?
Not CJ. I'm actually looking at
Sonny.
I think he's with the Edges. No, he's not. He's with the linebackers. Perkins, the other Perkins at Ole Miss.
Oh, Sunterine.
Yeah.
The 210 pounder?
He's 218 now, apparently.
Oh, let's go.
So he's gaining weight.
Let's go. Dude, Sunterine is so ridiculous, man. He pops off.
Dude,
but of course,
he is nuts. And I mean, if you're looking for, like, if you're not going to bring back Kaden Ellis, you need that pass rush upside.
Mm.
All right, I'll go with him.
Will.
Sunterine.
Yep. Damn.
Terrene. I'll get it eventually.
S. Perkins.
S. Perkins, baby.
All right. Well, Arizona. Again, you guys are honestly in a pretty good spot. I'd be surprised to see you guys here after what you have done. However, there's still so many edges that you have that I don't think are going to be viewed as long-term, and also contracts coming up and such. I'm going to go Mateo Uiagalelei because the value for him, I mean, there's a first-round edge rush you can get at 44. Once again, you guys are going to get a first-round player here in round number 2.
Okay, so this might not be the sexiest pick. This might not scream sex appeal, but I mean, I'm just assuming maybe with center, maybe Oluwatimi ain't it. It's just there's too many good centers, Alex.
I know.
And one that's perfect for the scheme. Actually, I mean, there's actually a few guys that are pretty perfect for the scheme.
Yeah.
But one guy that I'm going to lean towards, I don't think he's going to be high up here. It's not Slaughter. That's a guy that should be in consideration, though.
He's a good player. Really good center.
Is a Bryce Foster out of Kansas.
Really?
He's coming off a huge year, dude, at Kansas. He was freaking nuts. He left Texas A&M because there was questions like, because he's also like a track athlete superstar.
Yeah.
And Jimbo, who was the coach, I think at the time before he decided to transfer, questioned like, okay, well, is your heart in it or not? And he was like, well, fine, I'll go elsewhere and show you my heart's in it. And he was phenomenal for Kansas. Like Kansas, they still got some dogs there, dude. Like Hickshaw, I think is the running back, or Highshaw, who was behind Neal. It's pretty darn good too. Just fumbles a lot.
Yeah, I'd have to go and review Bryce, man. Him at A&M was not good for me. I was not.
His freshman year was solid. It was the year after where it was like, ugh. But he was also playing hurt that year.
Okay. I hope it ends up working out. Like I'm curious to see, because that Texas A&M tape really shattered my confidence in him.
Dude, I'm telling you, last year is. You're like, oh yeah, Kansas low key. Produce offensive linemen.
Dude, I was about to say, like, I like the fit for the school as well, because Kansas really has just developed really good offensive line talent everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm debating going Eric Singleton here for the Dolphins. Burner from Georgia Tech. I believe he's transferred to Auburn.
Yep. He's there with Cam Coleman. Is that the freshman?
I think so. Yes. Cam Coleman's a freak. Like that.
Yeah, he's already on my watch list for 2027.
Unbelievable. I'm looking at him as well as Casey Concepcion. Like, very hard to kind of delineate between the two in terms of what I would want more. But Zachariah Branch is fun too. If I'm not mistaken, he's a really twiggy though, right? Size wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not something I'm targeting round 2. But what are you looking at here? I'm leaning Singleton personally, but there's also Lamu that I really like that I think would be a big upgrade at tackle. I just don't know if you guys would be spending another second on offensive line.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know where you're at with this safety class.
Yeah,
and like who you like. There are a couple of names I kind of like at this point for the safeties.
Okay.
There's Kamari Ramsey's nice out of USC. There's Trey Moore out of Duke. Duke has some dogs in the secondary. They've been transferring pretty well as they've been really deep in the portal. So they're kind of wild too. Like they were good last year. Weren't they like a 9-win team last year?
They pushed everyone to their limits, including SMU. I mean, they were very good.
Mensah at quarterback too, I think, right?
I don't know. I just remember last year Malik Murphy was, which thank God he's not anymore.
But there are a few safeties, because again, we didn't really do anything with the safety position. So and no shot at Dante Trader. It's just can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. You know what? Kamari Ramsey, I'm surprised he went back to school. He seemed like he was pretty much a lock on day 2.
Yeah.
So I assume he'll progress an extra step, be worth the second round pick. I'm fine with retooling the secondary.
All right. No, I'm fine with it too. Some would say they need it. This is actually a spot I don't mind taking a linebacker. Did they take a linebacker in last year's draft? I feel like they did.
Nobody extremely high off the top of my head.
Yeah, it would have been like a 5th round pick, right?
Yeah. I don't think they did, because they ended up addressing it heavy in free agency.
They brought in Shamar James. That's why I remember. I like Shamar.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
But I guess
I recommend that one.
I just thought we could go the running back route.
I was about to say, Jonah Coleman's still on the board.
I totally forgot. Running backs, you can draft them, right?
You can. I'll say our guy Jonah is like a perfect fit here in LA.
Yo, so have you checked out this Faison kid from South Carolina? I say kid.
No.
Loosely. So he was from Utah State. He put up some good numbers, and I remember he was thinking about coming out. But then I saw he transferred, and I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, small school guy. And I realized why he thought about not coming out, because he needed to get an extra waiver. He's going to be 26 his rookie season. So I was like, the final piece of the puzzle there.
You got me all excited for a moment. I'm like, damn.
No. I'm here to crush dreams.
I was like, damn. I was all excited. I'm like, dude, this Utah State guy is doing really well. Like,
dude, firmly a one contract guy, probably.
I mean, not many running backs are far more, but yeah, that's a little bit annoying. Steelers. I'm looking at that corner core because, to be real, we got Darius Slay, big play Slay to kind of patch it up. 7th round pick and gonna do it for me. So I'm looking at AJ Harris here, solid cornerback, Penn State. Tacario Davis is bouncing back. He's going to Washington to pair up with his buddy Ephesians Prysock. I think he's gonna bounce back. He's smart. He's just not very athletic, which worries me. This is a weird spot to be in. Like safety as well. You could always talk about the guys we just ended up mentioning. Safety core always in need. Like, I swear we don't address it enough at all. But I mean, we got our quarterback. That's what really matters. Actually, I'm going to go offensive tackle here. We still suck on the offensive line. Like, I got to say it. Broderick Jones not stopping me from going after someone that a lot of people have considered the best tackle in the class, and Caleb Lamu. I'd rather fix the trenches rather than try to delineate which corner 8 is better. So we're going to go after Caleb Lamu.
Nice. Funny enough, am I going back to linebacker? I was thinking about going guard because was it Armaj Reed Adams? Kind of a nice pickup here that could be your long-term, or even actually Wendell Moe. Either of those guys would be good pickups because at least Mo's played on the left guard and you're looking for the Tooney replacement.
I was hoping that you'd let him slip to the Chargers, FYI.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you now, he's on the radar even if I pass him at this pick.
Well, I don't know what team would be the next one to take him. So
Texans. I might send it with Denver.
Oh my goodness.
I might just be spiteful.
Damn, you're going to do it just out of spite. All right.
Yeah,
all
but
right.
They need linebacker though. And Whit Weeks is fun as hell.
I love Whit Weeks, man.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Whit.
Yeah.
No, wait. I got to think. I know it's on the offense. Dennis Allen's an A&M guy. Nah, I'm going to go with Whit.
Okay. Whit is just so fun, dude.
Yeah.
He is a fun player. Vikings, honestly, let's dip back into the safety class, man. They still need it. I like addressing and fixing secondaries like it's my job. And it's going to be a need. Looking at the players available, I honestly do wish I went after Thieneman at 18. But of course, I don't even like the corners that are here off the top of my head, except for Igbinosun. But I'm looking at Keon Saab. The potential's through the roof. I think you'll agree with that. Like Keon Saab should be way more. At Michigan, he flashed a ton. And again, similar to what I was talking about with Damani Jackson, Alabama as a whole ended up really having a stutter step last year. I think Keon Saab is someone who could come back and make a big difference. And I love his range. I'm going to go and take him here.
Nice.
You like Keon Saab? I remember you were one of the first guys to talk
I liked him. I think I had him like midday 2, 3rd round.
Yeah.
And it was just an uneven year, is what it is.
Yeah.
Man, I took a tight end.
Dumbass.
Dude, I really like Sadiq though.
No, I'm excited to watch him, man. I love Oregon players for some reason.
Yeah, Oregon's good. They're a good team. I feel like I'm probably going to go with the defense. I know they brought in Jones, but maybe they go edge, but they're actually, they got quite a bit of edge talent there.
I know.
But there's a lot of good names.
I know. It's a good group. Would you look at receiver though?
Part of me thought about wide receiver, but
yeah.
I think I probably would have thought more about wide receiver if I didn't take tight end. And they brought in Pat Bryant. Like I was thinking Concepcion initially, but then I was like, golly, I just went tight end. So maybe I go elsewhere. Keep the defensive strength. And I'm thinking between a couple of these edge players actually. Because there's quite a few that I like. Ooh, was it Jackas? Jackas?
I think it's Jaka. Like I think the S is silent. Even though I'd love calling him Jackass.
He's kind of built for
270s.
Yeah, versatile. Or they just want that stand-up rusher.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think a guy like Joshua Josephs, he takes another step, could be.
He had a really flashy game last year. Forgetting which one, but like a 10 pressure.
Yeah, I'm kind of. And then I mean, Derek Moore's got kind of a ridiculous win rate, along with David Bailey. But at least Derek Moore has some size to him. And then there's the former Bowling Green Cassius Howell, who was at Texas A&M last year. I'm kind of excited. I'm hoping he has a legit breakout season as a full-time starter. I'm gonna go with probably. I'm gonna go with Derek Moore.
Derek Moore. All right.
Yeah. Oh, RJ Mason too, out of Texas. Isn't he? He's really undersized though, ain't he?
Which one are you talking about?
RJ Mason.
RJ Mason.
Could be wrong about that.
Where are you seeing him on here?
Oh, he was down here at 102.
Oh, you mean R. Mason Thomas?
Oh, what did I say? RJ, my bad.
Yeah, you're saying out of
I'm sorry,
Texas,
just R Mason. It's just weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's a weird player to study. I need to dig a little bit more into him, but it's I don't know how I feel about him off the top of my head. But Buccaneers, man, I mean, we ended up getting our linebacker / edge and Harold Perkins. I like where we're sitting there. Offensive line wise, I still think they could try to address the interior of the offensive line based on the value of guys that are available. Like there's some very good offensive linemen still here. The one that I'd be looking at is Jaden Roberts. I mean, tackle length arms, extremely powerful, really got a reality check when it came to facing higher quality defensive linemen, but he's a baller. It's kind of hard to say no to that. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't mind it. I'm for it.
Where would you be looking at?
I mean, defense is kind of the easy answer, right? I think tight end would be up there as well.
I know. Are we counting Lucky Lawson in here?
If you want to, yeah.
I love Lucky. We're going to go Lucky Lawson. Yeah.
So where did you say he was at?
Did we already take him?
No, we didn't.
Lawson Lucky, not Lucky Lawson. Sorry, 321. He was more dynamic, and he pretty much put Oscar Delp and, I mean, a very experienced, who's the guy from Stanford? Now his name just slipped my mind. Former Stanford tight end that went there, Ben Urosik. He put him to shame. So I'm excited.
Out here catching strays, bro.
Dude, we love Ben Urosik. It was very disappointing to see the one time he transferred to be a tight end 3.
Dude, I mean, all of them. Delp, Delp didn't get hot till the end of the year.
Yeah, and Lucky was the one who's most consistently hot.
Yeah. Houston Texans, I took a tackle. And it's probably the right answer. Could make a case for a center or a guard if you want to double dip, but I know that's not fun for some people. So instead, I'm going to jump to the defensive line. I'm going to go interior. I'm going to go with who is it? Tim Keenan, right? Out of Alabama?
Tim, yep.
Where's he at? He can't be that low.
Where is he?
That's not right. He can't be that low. There ain't no way.
Yeah, Tim.
We're
talking about Kim Tina is 676. He's the last guy, or one of the last.
No. Dude had a solid win rate.
He's a good player, man. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's one of the better run stuffers too.
I think NFL mock draft database probably only has like 100 guys in here that are actually like relatively ranked, and the rest are kind of just thrown in here at the end, which I understand now because I kind of was like on Trevor Sikkema a long time ago because it's like, oh man, we're a couple months in and like Azareye'h Thomas is not part of this. Like, could you add him and just put an NA grade at the end? And he was saying like, yeah, it's just a little bit wonky when you do that, and then like the order feels a little weird. Like, I understand the quality control in that aspect.
I think Trev said this year that it's going to be more of a team effort and not just, him putting the company on his back when it came to the mock draft.
Shout out to him. Shout out to Trev. Great guy.
But not in hindsight, but like with a little more context here, Christian Miller, they have rated at 26. I would argue both are very similar run stuffers, but Keenan actually has shown a little bit more as a pass rusher. Not much, but enough.
Well, for the Chargers, I'm going to replace a free agent that they ended up getting, and I'm glad that you forgot about this guy, Wendell Moe Jr. Baby.
I didn't forget.
I'm just going to imagine you forgot because it feels like more of a win. Okay. Where is he on this, by the way?
I don't know. It's time to control F this sucker.
There's no way they do not have my boy Wendell Moe in here.
Nope.
Unbelievable. All right. NFL mock draft database. You have over 800 players in here, but you don't have Wendell Moe.
You're just throwing shots out there.
That's what I do, man. That's what I do. You either love me or hate me for it.
Who do you want to replace him?
Let's see. Ooh, I used to like Josh Braun, so 7-13. Josh Braun was really solid for Arkansas.
You're gonna make me go all the way down there.
I was just down there anyways, homie. Anyways, I'm gonna have that be the placeholder. But Wendell Moe was the left guard for Arizona last year. Think of I ended up describing him in this way, and honestly, it's not a bad image. It's the Samoan version of Tyler Booker. I mean, just an absolute wall of meat. And he's just high anchor, very consistent, great poise, 339 pounds at, I believe, 6'3" or 6'2". Like, he's a unit. Might have a little bit of arm length concerns, but honestly, that didn't end up popping up on his tape. And he is the perfect player because he transitioned to Tennessee as well, who develop offensive linemen arguably as well as Arizona. You're going to have a high floor player with an extremely high ceiling, and it's a perfect fit to replace Mekhi Becton. And at least now you don't have to try to look over a 6'7" offensive tackle at guard.
Nice, man. I want a nose tackle. I don't know if I have a nose tackle available to me. I don't think I really do. Yeah, Womp Womp is right. They brought in a lot of guys to come be pass rushers there. So it's like, do I move to the offense? Where they added Matthew Golden. So it's like.
And Belton, to be fair.
And Belton, yeah. And I mean, shoot, offensive line. They had Jordan Morgan, who still probably going to be behind Sean Murphy. So they feel kind of set on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of guys I wouldn't mind taking shots on here. Like Brian Parker at Duke is a name that. Do I want to take another? Do I want to do that? I think I might want to do that.
Did Parker go to the same school? I'm tripping. As no, Parker was what? NC State? No, Parker is South Carolina.
Duke.
Am I tripping? Who was at South Carolina? Or I swear there was a developmental offensive tackle last summer scouting I was looking at. I was like, I'm tripping. Anyways, back to you. Duke.
I'm gonna go because I always thought they should. I always pegged them as a potential spot for Graham Barton.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make amends here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab. Ooh, Blake Miller's also thought. A lot of people think he's gonna have a big year, and he wasn't bad last year. He just needs to get stronger.
He's a high floor right tackle.
Yeah. Screw it. I already said Brian Parker. Let me at least find. Oh, maybe he's not on here.
It says one.
Yeah, it's TJ Parker, who we already drafted. So
yeah, I was scrolling down and I didn't see him.
Well, screw it. I'm going with Blake Miller.
Incredible.
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, we're getting multiple names out there for you to know.
This is true. Yeah, this is true.
Miller. A lot of people expected him to have a big year. He wasn't even bad last year. He only allowed 1 sack, 18 pressures, had a solid win rate. So it's pretty athletic. He just, again, needs to get stronger.
I respect that. For the Rams, I am going to deploy this pick on Eric Singleton, the former GT wide receiver transitioning to Auburn, and just get more youth and more explosiveness there as you end up saying bye-bye to Tutu. You like that?
Bye-bye Tutu.
Bye-bye Tutu.
Cincinnati Bengals, not to be confused with the Cleveland Browns. Let's think. Ted Karras has got to be at the end of the rope, right? We got to start getting some of these centers off the board because there's a lot of good ones.
It's to the point where they reached on Dylan Fairchild.
Yeah, right. I haven't watched Connor Liu at Auburn. So I can't really speak to him. He's got a really good win rate. I'm going to go with Jake Slaughter, though. He's a really good player, too.
You don't believe in Matt Lee?
Before we get to the next pick, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. When you download the app and sign up using promo code Broshmo, they match that first deposit up to $1,000. Redos with the NBA playoffs. They currently have the extender. Woo! For as long as a series goes on, your profit boost gets larger. But currently, they also got something else that's kind of fun happening. They're introducing a game called Ladders. And essentially, what it is, it's pretty easy. You pick 3 to 5 players who you think will go off. So, I mean, hey, it's playoff time. It's time for legendary performances. Who do you think is going to have a game of a lifetime? Because the better game they have, the higher you are going to hit. The higher the payout will be. If they all hit the highest rung, then you will win up to 10 or 100 times your money. So try out Ladders. It's a cool way to play. They just opened it yesterday. Opening it because that's a word. But yeah, check it out. But as always, please play responsibly. Play within your means.
We're here with the Texans, though. But you don't believe in Matt Lee?
No, he was, as I was saying before I died, he was a 6th, 7th round pick, right? It's just minimal investment.
But you don't have faith in his ability, or is it just based on where he was drafted?
Part of it, I think a majority of it's where he's drafted. Minimal investment. You want to put your eggs in that basket, to bring up a phrase I brought up like 10 minutes ago. Also, I always pegged him as more of this like wide zone center, and they run a lot of power. I mean, just look at the big meaty boys they like on their offensive line. Yeah, he's not that.
That's fair. Okay, so for Houston, honestly, a team I don't think that needs too much. I'm going to go back to the offensive line. We're just going to go full trenches, man. And you have enough instant impact players to where I think you can throw a Hail Mary at this. Shout out to the show. Simple plug. Making sure I did not. This thing, if you tap on this side, it randomly mutes it. But I'm going to go Jaden Roberts. I was talking about it earlier. His ceiling is through the roof. Honestly, it could be a tackle potential as well. But at least you don't need that with CC. Roberts has incredible length, incredible power. He just needs a little bit more discipline in terms of not lunging. And I do think this guy could be a top 15 pick at guard. Like, he has that level of potential. The problem is he hasn't shown the mental progression to get there. And at 58, I feel comfortable taking that risk.
Okay. San Fran, I took Trevor Gooseby. Probably should go elsewhere, though. I really do like the offensive line talent, man.
Dude, the offensive line talent's, it's a nice breath of fresh air, man.
Yeah, right?
That's for sure.
It's nice. So I guess we'll jump to... They brought in Nick Martin. They're kind of hoping he'll work out. There's some linebackers I still like here. We could talk... Where else? Maybe look for an heir apparent for Kittle. But he just sign a 4-year extension?
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe not. So I guess linebacker might be where I want to go. Because I was talking all that good stuff about these Pitt linebackers prior to recording. Yeah. And I imagine I should at least take one of them. So you got one that had 4 interceptions last year. 32 pressures, 7 sacks.
Yeah.
He's also, I think, like sub 230 and 6 foot. So
it's like 220 flat.
Yeah. While Rasheem Biles, he's 20 years old. He's young. He did have 5 pass breakups, 42 defensive stops. That's probably where I'm going to go. They got Lewis Hire on here.
Okay.
Oh, this is always the fun part, trying to look for your guys.
We love it.
Freaking love it. Oh, I don't think he's not on there. Okay, so I'm going to take Kyle Lewis. I knew I was taking a Pittsburgh linebacker.
Okay.
I'm very excited to dip into the Pitt linebackers tape. Just after.
Did you watch the one that was drafted this past year in George?
Yeah, remember I talked to you about George and you were like, "Oh, he's a letdown." I was like, well, apparently, because I was going to watch them until you said something. And then I was like, well, apparently the other guys are dogs. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Did you study them though?
No. After you told me that, I was like, yep, UDFA.
It broke my heart, man. When you see someone who's built like Brandon George was, tested out like Brandon George was, and then you just watch them and it's just a letdown. You're like, fuck. Like it breaks your heart, man. But Buffalo, I feel like edge is perfectly fine. I think Landon Jackson's going to do a fine job there, taking on the reins as like an edge 2/3. I'm not overly concerned. The area where I'd like to just invest even more firepower into, which is never a bad idea, might be the receiving core. I'm looking at Kevin Concepcion at this point, and KC did a phenomenal job given the role he had at NC State and the turmoil they had with their quarterback being nearly decapitated early into the season.
Ended up having to retire.
Had to retire and become a coach of all things. That's how you really know it's
Coastal Carolina great, Grayson McCall.
I know. Like that's another guy we really wanted to see succeed, and he just did not. I'm gonna go Kevin Concepcion at this point. Let's see if he can end up making a little bit more of his pro career than his college. Marcel Reed, that's the name.
Oh, for the quarterback at A&M.
I'm like, it just popped in my head. I just hear the guy when he ended up juking. I think it was the first game he played. He ended up having like some nasty juke versus, I believe, Florida. And then the announcer was like, "Oh," it was like, "Oh my god!" Like my guy just like piped down. It was sorry for the ASMR right there.
No, you're good. I'm gonna make this a fun pick for the Lions. So they did some moves in the draft. Whether you agree or disagree, they have a great draft history, and I like a lot of the players they took. How they got there, up for discussion. I grabbed some defensive line help. I don't know off the top. I mean, I guess I could Google it. Let's see.
There's only people in the comment section is like, do you know if this guy is like, what his age is or something? It's like, Google does exist, my friend. Like the amount of time that you
to be fair, like when it comes to college prospects, so it's almost near impossible to find out their ages sometimes.
Until they give it to you.
Yeah, offensive line. If I didn't have Dane Brugler's beast, I would have no clue about some of these offensive lineman ages. Matter of fact, that's how I found out David Walker was well on his way to being 25.
Being 36 as a rookie. Crazy.
Hey, good pickup though. So the Lions have potentially an out on David Montgomery after next season. I know he's still young and they could definitely go the distance with him. I mean, they could keep him for another year and that's A-okay, but I'm here to do something fun. I'm going to take Nick Singleton out of Penn State. Give me the freak that can be that. Not only the he's supposed to be the thunder right there, right? The knuckles, but honestly, he's more of the Sonic.
He was, because you got Fat Man there and Katron Allen kind of being the
maybe I should have took Fat Man on day 3.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you ever see a running back get tracked down by a defensive tackle, just write him up as a day 3 player. But
dude, I mean, he's fun though. I mean, I might not be high on Katron, but he's fun.
Yeah, he's a very fun back. Looking potentially for the Ravens into their receiving core, we really did deplete the class for the guys that I would be looking at here. Maybe on day 3, I'd recommend taking a shot at Kevin Coleman, the Mississippi State kid. I like his overall ability and how it could potentially translate. But I'm thinking about it. Do the Ravens, what do they do to address interior offensive line this past draft? Ooh, they got Emory Jones. Yeah,
could be a tackle. Probably. I mean, it feels like more of a guard because they brought Vincent. They also drafted Vincent.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because Vincent's going to be the long-term left tackle. I was debating going after
potentially
Austin Barber there. Yeah. Like the goal would be.
Yeah.
I'm just going to continue beefing up the D line. Let's go Tyreek Sapp at this point.
Yeah, I saw his name and I was like, I don't know where to fit him.
I know. He's going to play a very similar role to Calais Campbell when he was on the squad.
All right, I know where I'm going with this pick for the Chiefs. I didn't go corner early, and I'm going to go corner now. Mm-hmm. And I brought his name up, Jalen Kilgore out of South Carolina, because I was like, man, why is his completion percentage so high? And I saw he played majority in the slot, which, hey, that's just going to happen. There's going to be a lot of quick game stuff you can't really get to in time. Yep. I'm curious if he's going to play more outside, but I like that inside-outside versatility. He does have some ball skills. So he's someone that I saw in a first-round mock. So it's like, okay, maybe we got something. Maybe this isn't Fortune, or maybe this isn't Cam Smith.
Real. Yeah, I ended up putting him in one of my way too early first. So I don't think that was the one that you saw, but I would say I do agree. You would have mentioned it if it was mine. I'm like,
well, watching videos is tough for me. Like I read a bunch.
I read articles myself. Yeah. I don't watch too many vids on them, especially since like I talk with you about these guys too. It's like,
yeah, we kind of already know ahead of time.
Yeah, we know ahead of time what the hell is going on, man. Like it's not going to be any new analysis by, digging deeper. But for the Eagles here at 64, this could be where you look at another wide receiver. Corner, I actually think is pretty much solved for the time being. I have a ton of faith, and I mean a ton of faith, especially since he's already taken some boundary reps in rookie mini camp with Mac McWilliams. I think that was an absolute fleece of a deal. I think your safety core should be doing fine. Running back, obviously you don't need it. Defensive line, praying that Ty Robinson makes a difference. Otherwise, you're looking at DeMonte Capehart, Christian Miller, like Georgia player, kind of fits the vibe. I mean, to be fair, cornerback is probably the most loaded at the moment. I doubt that linebacker would be the focus. Tackle-wise, offensive line-wise, you're set. I mean, talk about a future that you guys have with Holland Pierce, Miles Hinton, Cam Williams.
Those guys, one of those guys are going to hit.
They're going to hit. You know what? I do think, though, that wide receiver 3 at 64 makes some sense. And Antonio Williams, with the way that he can play from the slot and the boundary, his deep threat ability as well, I think it complements the physical game of A.J. Brown and the kind of like the swifty, sneaky vibes that you get from Devontae Smith. So I'm going to go actually after Antonio Williams there, who was a top 20 receiver for me coming into the year last year.
Yeah. So. I heard that you liked him. Man, they also got another guy that's not even eligible this year. Wesco.
Oh my God. Dude. Wesco was so funny. I made a bet on Underdog, so shout out to sponsor for both of us. And I ended up saying like under, I think 50 yards on the game. Cause I'm like, who the hell is this Wesco kid? Ended up putting like 100 yards up in the first quarter. I'm like, fuck. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah, dude, they got some dogs there.
20. I'm looking ahead, and I'm very excited for the 2027 class.
Dude, it is I literally have a mock draft ready to upload, by the way. Like,
really?
It's ready to be recorded at least. And it's just like,
dang.
Yeah. It's a little too far out, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot. Speaking about way too far out, there's your 2-round, way too far out mock draft for 2026. Again, we were just trying to talk about, highlight a ton of names that should be on your summer watch list or names to know going into next year. You've already began. I'm going to hopefully begin my summer deep dive this week. So I'm very excited for that. I'm ready for a fresh take, a fresh class. And golly, Alex, let them know where they can find you.
Hail Mary Sports, YouTube, X primarily, Instagram as well, if you guys want to see a little more of the personal life. But no, it's we're both going to be grinding, so get ready.
Hell yeah. But as always, until next time. Sorry, you caught me while I was...
Yeah, I was like, you're lip balming, homie. I'm like, that's a solid ad break right there. YouTube's definitely going to be inserting one at the end.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, at the end. And now Gojo wants to barge in. It's a perfect time to end the video. As always, until next time, be easy, our friends. Later.